Gil Martin of Locked On Islanders here. Two key veterans return to practice. That is a big step forward. Plus, we preview tonight's game in Chicago. All that and more coming up on today's episode of the Locked On Islanders podcast.
Your Locked On Islanders, your daily podcast on the New York Islanders. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Tuesday edition of the Locked On Islanders podcast. So glad you could be with us today as we talk all things Islanders hockey. And as always, thank you for making Locked On Islanders your first listen of the day. Remember, we are free and available on all platforms, including now, of course, YouTube, so you can watch us, not just listen to us. Now, if you just do a search on YouTube for Locked On Islanders. And, of course, today's episode is brought to you by Rock Auto. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, all the parts your car will ever need. Visit rockauto.com and tell them that Locked On sent you. We've got a lot to discuss on today's show. Let's finally get back on the winning track. Third time, hopefully, is the charm. They travel to Chicago tonight to face the Blackhawks, trying to break that two-game losing streak that starts the season. All down for you on today's show. We also have two key players returning to practice, and we'll talk about that and the impact that they will be able to have on this team in just a few minutes. If there's something Islanders related on your mind, you have a question, comment, topic that you'd like us to discuss, feel free to email the show. The email address, lockedonislanders@gmail.com. And if you leave your first name and where you're from, we're happy to mention you on the air when we talk about whatever it is that's on your mind. You could also follow the show on Twitter at Locked On Isles, and you could follow Gil Martin on Twitter, NYRVSI, and we'll keep you up to date on the latest Islanders news, notes, and happenings. So let's start with the big news from Monday. Two veterans who have been injured and have yet to play this season rejoining the team for practice in Chicago, and that's certainly good news. The two players in question, Matt Martin and Semyon Varlamov. They were both full participants for the practice yesterday, and that is the first time that either one of them have been full participants in practice since the start of the season. And it's very, very good sign to see that. And here's what Barry Trotz had to say about Matt Martin returning to practice. He provides that emotional element to that line and to our team. He's a smart player. He understands the moments. He brings an emotional element to our team for sure. And then obviously the physical element. So Matt Martin back at practice. And Martin basically said that his injury to his ankle, here's what he said about it. He said, it happened back in March when we played a back-to-back against Washington and the Rangers. I blocked some shots in the same spot I was dealing with throughout the playoff run. I saw a specialist and went the surgery route. I feel good and hopefully will be in the lineup tomorrow. Now, in anticipation of the possibility that Matt Martin will be in the lineup tonight, we have another move made by the Islanders. Uncle Leo Komarov, on Monday, placed on waivers by the Islanders. Unlikely, given Komarov's high salary, that he will be claimed by another team, and this move allow the Islanders to send him back to Brady. He stays down there for 30 days. They can recall him if they want, but it will also save them some cap space over the time that he's down in Bridgeport. And again, that is something that is very valuable to this team, given how tight they are up against the cap. So Uncle Leo, who played in the Saturday game in Florida, placed on waivers, almost certainly in anticipation of Matt Martin's return. And it will be fabulous for the New York Islanders to have all three members of the identity line playing together. As we've said before on the show, and as I think most Islander fans know, when those three are together on the ice, they are better than the sum of their parts. And the chemistry that those three, that's Zizekas, Martin, and Clutterbuck, bring to the table, they play a great game when they are out there together. Now, as for Varlamov, the only thing the Islanders have said regarding his injury is that he has soreness. And he has been on the injured reserve, and having him out there for a full practice is a good sign. But unlike Matt Martin, Barry Trotz made it very clear that Semyon Varlamov will not be the goaltender tonight in Chicago. Here's what Barry Trotz said on Monday. He's not going to play tomorrow. Then we'll go from there. Once anybody joins practice, he's day-to-day. We'll see if we can get a couple of more ice sessions, and then we'll see where he's at. As I've said, we're just going through the protocol that we do for every player. Ramp it up, get them healthy, and ramp it up over time. Once healthy and that he's ready, then we'll put him in the net. So while he may very well play tonight, no Semyon Varlamov. Good news that he's getting. Good news that Varley has returned to practice, and that the Islanders' starting netminder could rejoin the team. The way Barry Trotz is talking about it, in my mind, and again, I'm just reading the tea leaves here, but it looks like maybe this weekend would be more or less time when you would expect Varlamov to get started his first game for this team. And again, that's assuming no setbacks between now and then that he feels physically is able to go. But the good news is Varley getting closer and closer to rejoining the lineup, and we'll see Ilya Sorokin most likely tight, and whether Corey Schneider will even get a start if Varlamov is close, maybe not. But one step at a time, and good news for Islander fans that both Matt Martin and Semyon Varlamov very close to returning to the lineup. Uncle Leo on waivers, again, I doubt because of his salary that he claimed, but this team is getting closer to having all their players ready on the ice, and that, friends, is a very good thing. And look, Ilya Sorokin, not the best of starts this year. I'm not worried about him long term. He is established, and I think he'll be fine. But at the same time, you don't want to see him struggle, and want to see your starting goalie be back and ready and be healthy. So we'll keep an eye on Varley, and we'll certainly update you as soon as we know anything. When we come back, we will preview tonight's game in Chicago. We'll take a look at the Blackhawks and how they've been doing so far this year. We also have our Islanders birthday of the day and a whole lot more still to come on the Locked On Islanders podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by your friends at BetOnline. We're back and better than ever. A new website interface for the start of basketball season and more props, odds, and lines than ever before. BetOnline remains your number one spot for all the basketball and football action this season. Head to our new updated desktop or mobile website to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use our promo code LOCKEDON to receive your bonus, and that's free money to bet on. From basketball, football, baseball, postseason, NHL, boxing, and UFC, right to your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers available for the 2021 season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports, so check out BetOnline where the game starts. So it's also brought to you by DirecTV Stream. This sound familiar? You got one device that lets you watch live, another that lets you stream your favorite shows, and you're watching sports highlights on you've got your neighbor's best friend's login for the good stuff. Well, I want to tell you about a simple way to get all that entertainment you love without the hassle, and a great way to finally get your TV together. It's called DirecTV Stream, and it brings your live TV and on-demand favorites together like never before, so you can watch your favorite sports, movies, and shows all in one. That means no more juggling remotes and no need to buy another device ever again. And the best part, there's no annual contract. So get rid of the clutter and the confusion and get your TV together with DirecTV Stream. You can learn more at directtv.com. That's directtv.com. Compatible device and vary by package. Thanks for making Locked On Islanders your first listen every day. We are free and available on all forms. Looking ahead tonight, Islanders were one to the Windy City this year and the Chicago Blackhawks. And, you know, the Blackhawks are an interesting team. They are an interesting mix right now of some experienced veterans, some names that, you know, hockey fans know well. Certainly this team still has players like Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane. They have added some talented newcomers in goaltender Marc-Andre Fleury, Seth Jones. You're talking about a goaltender that is experienced, that Islander fans are certainly familiar with from his days with the Pittsburgh Penguins. I mean, Fleury has been around a long time. He's 37 old. You know what he's done in recent years with Pittsburgh. So you can't, Marc Fleury is not the same goalie he was 5-10 years ago, but he's still a very, very good goaltender. Last year, a 1 point against average and a save percentage, a 26 record wins and losses. This is an upgrade in goal for the Chicago Blackhawks, and that means it's something that you have to be aware of. And then Jonathan Canes, you have the young who add a lot. If we look at what they have, Kirby Dach is the first line. Alex Brinkat and Patrick Kane on his wings, and Brinkat is a talented player. I mean, last year, 32 goals, 52 games. You got to be aware of him. So getting a player like Matt Martin back is a very good thing coming up against a team that can put the puck in the net, especially in their top line. The second line, Jonathan Toews, center is that. Dominik Kubalik and Philip Kurashev are his wings. And again, there is talent on this team and ability. So you got to be aware of that. Henrik Borgstrom is the third center with Beagle and Tyler Johnson on his wings. And Mackenzie Entwistle is the fourth line center with Juhar Khaira and Adam Gaudette on his flanks on that line. I think this is a fourth line that the Islanders should be able to potentially take advantage of. Familiar name defense, we mentioned Seth Jones, and he's still acclimating. You got to remember, he's only played a handful of regular season games so far for Chicago this year. His partner early on has been former Islanders defenseman Calvin Don. Then the second pairing, Jake McCabe and Connor Murphy, some quality players there, Riley Stillman and Eric Gustafson, another name that Islander fans should be very familiar with since he was on a PTO just a couple of weeks ago. That's the third pairing. So Gustafson, we know he's capable. There is a depth issue on defense, and it's something the Islanders need to be able to try to take advantage of. On the power play, that first unit, they'll move DeBrincat back to the point sometimes, and then they'll put Taves and Kane on the wings, Tyler Johnson in the middle, and then Seth Jones and DeBrincat on the point. So you have four forwards plus Seth Jones. That's a very talented first unit. The second unit, Kirby Dach, Henrik Borgstrom, and Philip Karashev are the forwards. Gustafson and Kubalik are on the points. Now, again, Marc-Andre Fleury is the starting goalie. Evan Lankinen is the backup. There are some injuries. Caleb Jones, Wyatt Panuck, and Andrew Shaw all listed as out as of right now, so are unlikely to be available. Look, overall, this Chicago team is a mixture of youth and experience. Maybe what they're lacking most is a lot of players who are in their primes right now. And, for the Islanders, the importance of tonight is to right the ship. First of all, you got to get at least 1 point. You don't want to start the season 0-3 with 0 points. This is going to be a very competitive Metropolitan Division and a very competitive Eastern Conference, and the Islanders do not want to risk digging a hole that they'll have trouble digging out of. Look, it's a 13-game road trip to start this season. We all know it's difficult. Getting Matt Martin back is an emotional boost. Even having Varley just back in practice is an emotional boost. The other thing is you got to know that Barry Trotz is talking to his team and making sure they are aware that they cannot continue to play poor hockey in their own zone. I'm willing to bet we see better hockey from Zdeno Chara, who had a game Saturday against Florida. Not just defensemen, but the overall team defense is going to snap into place because this Blackhawks team will challenge you. And if guys like Taves and Kane and DeBrincat and Seth Jones room to skate through the neutral zone, the Islanders could be in trouble. So look for the Islanders to keep it simple, to get back to basics. They have to go back and do the things they did in those first 4 preseason games this year, in the playoffs last year, regular season last year, and play defense first, back check, clog up the neutral zone, keep the opposition on the perimeter. They have to play their game and forecheck. I'm looking for the B&B line to bounce back. I'm encouraged by what I've seen so far from the top line. I think, Anders Lee, Kyle Palmieri, and Matthew Barzal have been an effective trio. Now it's time to be more consistent and get things going, and that's what this road trip will challenge. And they have not an easy game against the Blackhawks, but a game they can and really have to do better at than what they've played so far. So looking forward to that challenge. Should be a great game tonight, and hopefully the Islanders will deliver for their fans. And again, a very important game. You don't want to start with a 3-game losing streak. It's going to be a challenge, but I think this Islander team will be equal to. When we come back, we'll have our Islander birthday of the day and more. So stay with us right here on the Locked On Islanders podcast. This episode is brought to you by Rock Auto. With the ever-increasing numbers of makes and models, it's now impossible for your local chain store to stock all the parts you need. So why endure often pointless or seemingly intimidating questioning and wait while the person behind the counter orders the parts on their computer, choosing only the brand their warehouse happens to carry? You have computers with access to rockauto.com at home and in your pocket. So why choose to spend 30, 50, or even 100% more for the same parts from a chain store or car dealership? Rock Auto is a family business. They've been serving do-it-yourselfers online for over 20 years, and their prices are reliably low and the same for every customer. They have everything you need, from brake parts, tail lamps, motor oil, or even a new carpet. Go to rockauto.com right now and see all the parts available for your car or truck, right locked on in there. How did you hear about us box? So they know we do. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, all the parts your car will ever need. rockauto.com. Islanders birthday of this early 54th birthday of former Islanders forward Bill Bergberg, drafted in the third round of the 1986 entry draft by the Islanders. Made his Islanders debut in 88-89, had a full season with the team in 90-91, 91-92, and then in 92-93 split the year between the Islanders and then was dealt to the Toronto Maple Leafs, the Rangers, Senators, and then ended his career in the AH in 1998-99. Full NHL career, Bill Berg, 546 games, 55 goals, 122 points, 61 playoff games, 3 goals, 7 points. Bill Berg plays more of a checking forward. He had good size, 6'1", 205 pounds. He was the kind of guy up front, and he would check the opposition's top offensive players and try to slow them down. So looking at his better statistical games with the Islanders, October 20th, 1992, at the Nassau Coliseum, Flyers come into town to visit their goalie, Stefan Beauregard. The Islanders countering Glenn Healy, and it was the Islanders scored first. Our Islanders gets his 5th of the year unassisted at 5:59, 1-0 Islanders. Then Derek King adds to the Islander lead. He takes a pass from Pierre Turgeon and pots his 4th of the year at 15:05. After 20 minutes, it's the Islanders up by a score of 2-0. The Islanders power play gets going midway through the second period with Kevin Dineen in the box for roughing. Steve Thomas, his 2nd of the year. Derek King and Jeff Norton with the assists at 9:19. 3-0 Islanders. Looked like the Isles were in control, but the Flyers do get back into this game. Unfortunately, Pat Flatley sent off for holding. Gary Galley, a power play goal from Andre Lamakin and Brent Fick at 12:33 after 2 periods, 3-1 Isles. In the third, Mark Recchi from Eric Lindros and Greg Kozlowski, only 38 seconds into the period, makes it a 1-goal game, and then the Islanders take another penalty. Vladimir Malakov called for holding the stick. Rod Brindamore, a power play goal, his 4th from Recchi and Kevin Dineen. That nothing lead is gone. The Islanders and Flyers are even at 3 apiece. But Derek King tallies for the Isles with just 5:03 left in red. Steve Thomas and Pierre Turgeon with the assist. The Islanders skate away with a 4-3 win in this one. Glenn Healy, 23 saves to earn the win. And for Bill Berg, our Islanders' birthday of the day, he scores the goal. He is a +1, and he registered 1 shot on goal. 2 goals and 1 assist for Derek King in this game. He led all Islanders as far as points were concerned. Pierre Turgeon had 2 assists, and Steve Thomas a goal and an assist, and he led all Islanders players with 5 shots on goal. So again, it's a little early. Bill Berg's birthday is on the 21st, but a bunch of really Islanders birthdays later in the week. So we're off with Bill Berg here on Tuesday, and great to mention him and wish him all the best on 54th birthday. We are a couple of days early. Tomorrow, report of the year. Of course, we will also have the key from tonight's game in Chicago. Thanks for making Locked On Islanders your first listen every day. Now make your second Locked On Fantasy Hockey. Host Scott Cullen leans on his decades of fantasy hockey insight and experience every day to help you be the expert of your fantasy league. It's free and available on all platforms. Play the game tonight. Hopefully this is where the Islanders bounce back and start getting on the winning track. Stay safe, and of course, let's go Islanders.